President Biden got Elon Musk to open up 7,500 of Tesla's electronic car charging stations to all electronic vehicles by the end of 2024. It's good news in the struggle to end fossil fuel dependence. Right now, only Teslas can juice up at the Tesla station. And guess who's paying for it? That's right, you and I, the American taxpayer. This measure was agreed upon under the bipartisan infrastructure bill of 2021. And hey, I am all for spending American tax dollars, cleaning up the environment and, staving off climate chaos. But shouldn't one of the taxpayers paying for this be Tesla? Here's another company reporting billions in profits, $5.5 billion in profit last year alone. That's what Tesla made. They are paying zero in federal taxes. That is right, zero. And, and I can't even demonize Tesla or Musk over this because, and this is the worst part as I looked into it, this was the worst part. The worst part is that the corporate tax laws actually allow Tesla and Musk to argue somewhat convincingly, if not entirely truthfully, that they make their money offshore and therefore they owe zero, even though they rely on our federally funded roads, our federally funded bridges and freeways for their electronic vehicles and for some of their operations here. They still pay zero. And now I, Julianna Forlano, and you, viewer, have to help a billionaire do a small, incremental, basically tiny thing, tiny part in fixing a problem that he himself helped create along with his other billionaire buddies. I don't think that this is just, at least not in this case. I would like to propose a you knew tax on the oil and gas industry since they are responsible for this crisis and make them pay what might aptly be called reparations for the damage they have done to our environment, our climate. Or they could just, if we can't get that going, they could just pay their regular taxes. That would be fine. They're not doing that either. Just pay the ones they should already be paying, and we can use that money to bend the arc of justice in the direction of preserving life on Earth. Who's with me? You can leave it in the comments. I mean, certainly Biden's agreement with Tesla is a small step in the right direction, but let's not pat Elon on the back for his environmental stewardship just yet. Tesla has 28,000 charging ports in the US. 28,000. They are opening up 7,500 out of 28,000. And they said it's going to take them 2 years to do it, all the while knowing that the faster we transition, the more untold suffering wrought by climate chaos we can avert. When someone can avert the suffering of millions, perhaps, let's just say countless beings on this earth, and they still don't do it, isn't that just the definition of evil? And whether or not Musk would even do that much, even do the 7,500, that's still up for debate. Look at his record of unfulfilled promises. He rivals Donald Trump on unfulfilled promises. Remember how Musk said Tesla would have a network of 1 million driverless robo-taxis by now? I'm personally glad he fell through on that one. But he also said Tesla would have an electronic pickup truck by 2021. That would go a long way toward a green energy future because people who need pickup trucks for work, they have no option. Now, the people who have pickup trucks because they have to prove America, they could buy a regular Tesla. That they could do that. We don't have a cure for that one yet. Anyway, well, let's not obviously forget where he dropped the ball on Twitter. I mean, he said he was going to buy it, then he wasn't going to buy it, then he was going to buy it, then he wasn't. Then I guess he did because it was already in his cart. I mean, he buys $1 billion company social media platform the same way I buy extra socks at TJ Maxx. They're already in the cart, I guess. I mean, And speaking of Twitter, Elon Musk got his knickers in a twist, shall we say, after he realized that the president of the United States of America got more engagement with his tweets than Musk was getting himself. At 3 a.m., he called in his engineers for what was called an emergency all hands on deck meeting, where he forced them to manipulate the algorithm so it artificially forces 90 million people to look at Elon's 280 character word salads. Although he makes more sense than Trump, but I think this is crazy, right? I mean, the fact that Musk can't understand why communication from the leader of the free world might be more interesting to people than communication and musings from the born into wealth son of emerald mine owners is what I would consider a clear indication that he is suffering from the condition known as affluenza. Don't worry, I'm sure the workers in his dad's mine in apartheid South Africa were like treated well. They were unionized, had profit sharing agreements. I'm sure that's how that worked because not. Affluenza, in case you don't know, is the inability to understand the consequences of your actions because you're rich. Mm, he is actually blinded by the light that is reflecting back at him from the emerald spoon that he was born having in his mouth. I people use are used to seeing him, even on the right, on the left, as some sort of visionary, the some sort of uh, uh, just like they have that whole thing in America where if someone has a lot of money, they must know something. They must have done something, not just be born the son of an emerald miner. So let's see what this guy says because he made a spaceship. And yes, he is an interesting person in the fabric of our lives at this point in public life. But, the left once embraced him as a visionary because he created this fleet of electronic vehicles. And is it possible that he might be the step out of dependence on fossil fuels when it comes to transportation? He was planning to invest billions in rapid transit. The right, especially on the internet right now, they in what I believe is a justified concern over the rise of AI, they see him as some sort of Nostradamus-esque truth teller with information about the future that proves their theory about the rapidly approaching apocalyptic end times. Now, I do think we are facing a rapidly approaching apocalypse. It is called climate change. So, little truth in that. But anyway, Alon's perceptions are distorted by the kind of money that, you and I probably just don't have. Getting a valid perspective out of him? No. If you catch my drift, I'd be saying you'd have better luck trying to pass a camel through the eye of a needle. You hear me on that one? And Musk's business sense is completely clouded by affluenza. Let's take Tesla car sales, for example. They were in a major slump last year after Elon gutted Twitter because the great businessman, the visionary, forgot who buys electric cars. It's environmentalists. And guess who buys fancy luxury electric cars? That would be limousine liberals who would be environmentalists if they didn't have to give up or the throwaway cups they drink their lattes out of. This group of people who liked Twitter just the way it was, a woke stoking, Trump free marketplace of ideas. These are the people who buy Teslas. Did you not see that coming? Did you not think of that when you tried to despotically libertarianize Twitter? Not such a great businessman, not such a great environmentalist, not such a visionary. But Biden did partner with him on converting electric vehicle charging stations, even though in a tweet last year, Musk called Biden a damp sock puppet in human form. And that's a quote. You may not have seen that tweet, but if you're still on Twitter at this point, you will definitely see his next one because he's jamming it in front of 90 million eyeballs. Musk has clashed with the Biden administration and other Democrats, particularly when it comes to labor unions. He doesn't like them. He doesn't support them. No surprise there. Apparently, the apple doesn't fall far from the emerald mine owner. I'm Julianna Forlano. This is the Julianna Spin. Thanks for watching me here on Political Voices. Leave your comments below. I've really been enjoying your comments over the last couple of videos, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner wherever you generally get your podcasts.